Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you happen to be watching this, and welcome to a Disability Expo special of the Grumpy Gits. The podcast that has the exact same chance of getting a peerage as Nadine Dorries. As always, I'm your glorious host, Adam Pearson, leading you to this cavalcade of Disability Expo specific conversation. But I am not alone. Oh, no, 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 no. I am joined by three good friends and titans among men who will lead you by the hand through the chaos that I will no doubt create in the next hour or so. Up first, he is the Scottish psychopath, Marty Dugan. How are you, my friend?
Very good, thank you. Still very psychopathy, but I'm very good, thanks. I'm very hot. It's been warm, isn't it? And I don't know whether you've heard this before, but Scottish people, we don't belong in the sun. We're like vampires. Every time that I get dressed, I feel like I just melt into a puddle, and all that's left in my wheelchair is my clothes and a pair of trainers and no person in them.
It's unbearable. You know how in Gremlins you can't get Gizmo wet. Well, I'm like that. But if I exceed a certain temperature, I just and then like nasty stuff happens. So yeah,
What
I'm with
what
you. I
what happens if they feed you
I
after midnight?
oh if they don't feed me after midnight, but
Yeah,
in my mind that's a dumb rule because no matter when you're
Agree.
feeding that thing, you're feeding it after midnight.
Regardless, you don't feed them between midnight and it is after midnight. Well, until when? Like every hour is after midnight.
Right? So it's
Huge
like
plot hole.
it is. There's a lot of plot holes in like classic films, like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That film ends the same way, whether Indy's there or not. The Nazis get the Ark and open it.
Yeah.
it's only taken me 35 years to realise that.
Hey,
You have
Adam
taken
Pearson,
in the
ruining
space
classic films, baby.
within the space of 5 to 7 seconds, you've managed to take away a good chunk of my childhood.
You're welcome. And you've already heard from him, Mr. Duncan Casban. You're a man from the land down under. How are you finding the heat?
It's heat. It's just life. What I will say is where I was in Australia, it was very dry. Here, it's like you walk into you got your kind of your fans on or whatever at night. You turn them off. You walk out here, and it's just like a wall of humidity. You kind of open your front door, and it's like woof. So yeah, I'm feeling like this, especially in my little office here. It's kind of like a sweat box.
Do you know what I've noticed about you Aussies? Yous have got pale skin as well because yous were sent over in the boat because yous were a bunch of crooks and criminals. So basically, you're just Brits on steroids.
We just Brits who've learnt how to suck up and cope with life. That's what it is.
You were,
Thanks,
you were,
thanks for saying that. You're right.
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah. We were Rwanda before it was cool. Yeah.
I love Billy Connolly talks about it. It's like, the British way was always, let's find somewhere colder, and off they go, further north, further north. But for Australia, it was like, nah, this is pretty damn good. We're staying here. It was kind of like jokes on you fuckers, like.
And finally, he is the king of the Stone Age. That's a reference to you, Duncan. Chris Lee Smith, how's it going, mate? Well, it's just all a bit shit, really, isn't it? I mean, the weather, I'll be honest, I get a little bit of a semi from thinking how many mice are dying in this weather. Because it's saving me just a lot of time and effort, and I don't have to drive an hour to watch a mouse die. I just secretly know that they are in the heat. The storms knocked out my internet, so I couldn't play games or watch porn for like a whole evening. I had to talk to my family, which was, God, my kids are dull. Oh, how are you? Oh, soft. Oh, why? But other than the whole like mass death of mice and the internet and storms and what have you, my eyebrows are coming in and I look like Groucho fucking Marx. That's fun.
I was going
So
to ask how the eyebrows were.
all in all, I'm gonna give it like a 5 out of 10. No one shat themselves this week. We've got a company now, which is great. We're going to get like the logo and stuff sorted. Don't know why I sound like Gemma Collins all of a sudden. It just sort of happened. The heat, more than likely.
The logo. Are we going to get the logo sorted?
Are you the CL now? You're the CL.
I was always the CL, bitches. We've only just realised it. So yeah, all good. Excited to talk about the expo and all the fun we're going to have in London. And all my wife watches this. All the drinking I won't be doing. Thanks for that, Chris. Future reference next time. Just tell me you're fine. Don't want to hear about like mouse stiffies. Moving on. Nearly here, Duncan. Nearly here, Martin. The 6th and the 7th of July. Where we're going to be and what are we going to be doing? Say it loud, Duncan. Say it proud.
Expo. Disability. It is going to be awesome. I am so pumped for this now. And not just for the SoCo and oranges, which I won't be touching. The closer we get, the more excited I'm getting.
And actually, I feel like the things that are on show, some of the things that we're going to be experiencing at this expo is pretty incredible, whether it's about gaming, whether it's about fashion, whether it's about equipment with different disabilities. It makes you feel like it's definitely for the people that are coming to the event. No matter what your needs are and what you're looking for and what you might enjoy when you get there, there's something for everybody there. When we sort of first came onto the Scenery Expo, we wanted it to feel like a festival. We wanted it to feel like an exhibition or a disability exhibition.
It's not, is it? It's so much more than that because it is just a party, basically.
Guess who's right in the centre of it, baby? But no, that's why I'm looking forward to it, because I feel like everybody's going to come away with something that they haven't seen or haven't experienced before, but they'll also get something out of it that they want.
Yeah, and I think this is what separates the expo from places we've worked with before. Trade shows, they're B2C, business to consumer, and there's nothing wrong with that, like at all. And we've all come away from them having thoroughly enjoyed them.
Absolutely,
but this does feel like it's by the community for the community. And having looked at the timetable and what's going on, and also having worked with them really closely, this sort of like feels like the final act, and like the big finale. And I'm genuinely excited to see what's going to go down, who we're going to meet, who's going to be there. Because, we're there, irreverence going to be there. It's going to be a good chance to see people in the flesh who up until quite recently, we've only been dealing with online.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? With so many people we've met and talked to and become friends. I mean, Eva's a really good one to focus on because obviously she's the centre stage. And the centre stage is going to be a huge zone. There's so many awesome people going to be on the centre stage.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit apprehensive about meeting them in person because what if they're dicks?
Never meet your heroes.
You've met me before, Martin. You know full well I'm a massive knob.
Adam, you are proof that you can be disabled and still be a bit of a prick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, the living embodiment of a disabled prick. If there's ever a T-shirt that says disabled prick, Adam's picture would be on it.
It's the title for his autobiography.
There is a photo of me on that T-shirt, but if you look really closely, I'm holding a photo of Chris.
What have you got to say to that, Chris?
I resent that. He is really lucky I'm on my meds. Or I drive to his house. Or I'll probably forget, let's be honest. But I certainly plan to drive to his house and kill him.
Let's face it, you'll end up at a McDonald's on the way and you won't leave.
I stop at every service station and have like a snack just to calm down. And then by the time I get there, I forget I was angry at him and we just end up playing Street Fighter. That's what had happened.
He's not going to make it there because he's going to be food poisoned before he even gets on that motorway.
You keep Kibo Services Station's name out your mouth. You understand me, Martin? You fucking understand. That service station is God's gift to motorways. I will not have you slander it.
Actually, you need to remortgage your house just to get a broccoli out of it.
And you know what? I'll do it.
Why don't we have a look at the centre stage and what Disability Expo are doing with it? We want all delegates to feel centre stage at Disability Expo. Our main stage will be a platform for entertaining and inclusive content from a wide variety of acts. Here's a taste of our exciting lineup. Britain's Got Talent finalists and self-proclaimed cerebral palsy warrior Eva Abley will be performing a comedy set on both days of our event. That is not to be missed. Our event partners, the Grumpy Gits Show, will be recording an episode of their podcast live from the event. We'll be putting the world to rights, discussing everything from serious disability issues to the silliest of questions. The Disabled Inventors Showcase, sponsored by Innovate UK, will shine a spotlight on innovators who have been through the grant process as they demonstrate their products and share their stories. We are working with a number of fashion brands, designers and talent agencies to bring you an inclusive fashion show in which everyone feels represented. Because everyone deserves to feel confident in their clothes and able to express themselves through fashion. Musician, songwriter and neurodiversity advocate Jay Grange will be uniting us all in a song with a live performance of his empowering We Will Rise single, spreading the message of ending inequalities, divisions and prejudice in our society. There is truly something for everyone at Disability Expo this July, so register for your ticket at www.thedisabilityexpo.com for a day full of both fun and discovery.
So that was the centre stage. As said, Eva Abley is going to be there. We're going to be there, aren't we, Dan? So we're doing a live recording of the Grumpy Gits.
We've got a live recording and we've got the game show.
No.
Who knows what could happen?
It's going to be
Anything.
mayhem in the best way.
It is.
That makes sense.
We're already disabled. What's the worst that's going to happen? And also, I'm disabled. I don't know any better. So let chaos thoroughly reign. Well as the centre stage, we have the People's Panel. I'm leading one on representation in the media. It's a place to come and discuss the more human side of disability, why it matters, and why so many disabled advocates do what they do. Because the life of a disabled advocate, it's not an easy one. I wouldn't say it was fun. Would you, Duncan Casburn?
I can only come from a carer perspective, I guess. There are times it's amazing, and there are times, I'll be honest, I've really been struggling just this last couple of weeks. And my mental health's been what I think is really getting me excited about the People's Panel is that it's not people talking at you. I don't know about you guys, but I find that there's so much of this stuff where it's people who are just talking at you. What I like they've done with this is that it's that, for each sort of subject that's being covered, there's a group of people who are knowledgeable or expert in the area they're discussing. They're actually able to form an intelligent discussion around that. So it's not rather than that sort of speaking at you, it's actually kind of healthy debate in a way, and maybe bringing those different perspectives in just makes it so much richer.
Yeah, I think that when you're on a panel like that and you're talking about representation, that's why disability is so much more difficult than something like race or gender or other sort of minority groups. It's because even though I've got cerebral palsy, there's not two people in the world with the same type of cerebral palsy. So you're always treading a fine line there. You're trying to generalise it and you're trying to talk for everybody, but you can't, because I don't know what it's like to be blind. I don't know what it's like to be deaf. I don't know what it's like to be neurodivergent in that sense. The reason why I'm saying this, Adam, is because I think that this People's Panel is, in my opinion, one of the most important things that will be happening at Expo.
I agree. And I think, as has been said, these kind of debates are really important because it just goes to show that disabled people aren't a monolith. Also, like broad categorizations of disability, mainly for medical or sport purposes. Each individual person has a different lived experience of it. And it's important that we highlight that and honour that as part of the discussion. But also we need to sort of like speak for ourselves.
Yeah.
And like without degrading or dismissing the experience of others. And hitting that happy medium is a real art form where we can educate people about our experiences, but also leave room for the experiences of others to both be heard and to breathe and exist in the same environment.
That was actually a really good speech, mate. I think that's why you should do a People's Panel.
You should be on one. Right, Chris, I want to hear from you, mate, because this is going to be your first event officially under the banner of NADHD.
I've got to take my meds. That's point one. Otherwise, that Costa in the lobby are going to get a lot of my money. Like, a lot. Like, 8 bacon rolls in, and I'll be sodiumed up to my tits. I reckon it's going to be great. I reckon we're going to be the best thing there. And then it's probably Eva. And then everything else. And then Snowball. I reckon that's how this is going to go. Couple of nights of drinking. Can't go wrong. be honest. And then I might go down to the car park at the Excel. There might be mice there that I can fuck up. It's all gonna be good, boys. It's all gonna be really, really good. And I know you can't tell because ADHD. I'm excited. So yeah, here to tell us more about the People's Panel are our good friends at Disability Expo, 6th and 7th of July. It's coming.
One of the most important aspects of Disability Expo is empowering people with a disability to have their voice heard on the issues that matter to them. The People's Panel is a forum-style theatre where pressing topics will be discussed by influential and knowledgeable panellists, as well as providing a safe space for our delegates to join the conversation and share their unique experiences. A key topic we will be discussing is disability representation in the media. Let's hear from some of our panellists on why this is such an important conversation for us to have.
Hi, I'm Roxy Murray. I am a sex and body positive MS disability activist. I am passionate about better disability representation in media because I believe there is not enough of it. I believe it is necessary and needed for disabled people to be able to see themselves on TV and media overall. This is both empowering and beautiful to be able to share our stories and for the wider world to hear from our unique experiences.
Hi, it's Nate Williams here. I'm the founder and chair of the Ability Group in Sport, the first disabled network in the UK for sports media professionals. I'm excited to be here and I'm passionate about this topic because there's been an increase in disabled people working in the sports media like myself for 12 years, and I just can't wait to see more people come through and progress in this industry.
Also appearing on our People's Panel is presenter, journalist and DJ Jordan Jarrett Bryan. He said, "I'm really looking forward to attending the Disability Expo. These events are so important in making sure people with disabilities are heard and empowered to gain their rights, be it in the workplace or everyday life. I'm looking forward to listening to the ideas from the panel and audience and working out how we can progress as a community. I firmly believe people with disabilities are not taken as seriously as others, and it's an injustice. We bring huge economic and personal value to society, and it's about time we stopped asking for respect and take it." A diverse range of topics and panellists have been selected, and we will engage with Disability Expo community to shape the conversations we have on the day. Beyond this two-day event, we want to take forward the issues raised and campaign for real change. So register your free ticket to Disability Expo and be part of the movement.
We also have the Community Clinic, which is a place where people can go discuss things that are going on, seek relevant advice from the right medical professionals in a space that's like safe and open and without all the rigmarole that can normally come with medical intervention. I think this is going to be really important. And I think often we talk about disability in terms of social model, medical model. And sometimes it can go too far one way and wind up demonizing the medical model. I think the medical model has some value in the sense of, particularly when I was growing up, once you know the devil you're dealing with, that's half the battle won. And so for some people, this is going to be a chance to have a really important conversation about the medicine. And granted, that isn't the be-all and end-all, but it's certainly important. Martin, what do you think?
I think for me, I think you're right. I think I spent a lot of time in hospital, like yourself, when I was younger, and it was, I think that medical part of the disability world is always quite difficult because they don't talk in a language that we understand. You miss information. They kind of just give you operations, medication, advice, physio, occupational therapists, all these things, and let's be honest, you don't really know what's going on. You just know that it's for the best. The thing that I think that it's important for is that people might not really be diagnosed yet, or might not fully understand why they're feeling the way that they feel, or how they can best cope with how they're feeling at the moment. And I think for me, whether that's an emotional thing, a mental health thing, a physical thing, then that can be quite vital, I think. Yeah. And I think there's a space, if you're in amongst people that are like they're going through similar things, then that might open people up to talk a little bit about it more. And let's be honest, we're very British about our disabilities sometimes, aren't we? We're not exactly open when it comes to the difficulties day to day about how we're feeling about it or how we cope with it. So maybe this space will hopefully start off like a little wave of people who go in there with the intentions of really finding out what's going on and educate themselves, and that allows us to educate each other a wee bit.
Speaking from the neurodivergent perspective, I guess, as a neurotypical, but obviously with family who are neurodivergent, the work I do with, parents and carers and stuff who you're so unsure of what's really going on, and you're kind of fearful to approach often the professionals because you're parent blame and all these kind of things that come along with it. I think having a safe space where you can say, this is what we're experiencing at the moment, and maybe getting that like a professional opinion or expert opinion. I mean, like we've spoken to, it was over on the PDA Dad channel. We spoke to Mike Cowan-Jones, who's an occupational therapist, and he's sort of championing the SEND side of things. Having guys like him who he understands neurodivergence because he's not only an occupational therapist, he's an occupational therapist who's had to reconsider a lot of the opinions that he formed through his training because he's now got a daughter who's neurodivergent.
So it's like an experience with it that makes people understand it.
That's exactly it. Like you got guys like that there, when you've got people who you can approach safely without it being that sort of worry of what's going to come for this, being able to get real expert advice without it being thrown back on you as well. You're parenting properly, or, could it just be this, or they got some kind of detachment disorder or blah, blah, blah. Like actually being able to say, this is what we're experiencing and getting professional advice on, I think for the neurodivergent community, that's an awesome thing.
I agree. Disability is one of those things where, and to coin a cliche here, you don't get it till you get it. And then once it's either in your world or has direct proximity to your world, do you truly start thinking about these kind of things? And hopefully this zone can really help engage people in that way of conversation and that way of thinking.
I think it's what separates the expo from other events. This isn't just about, like Adam was saying, B2C. It's not just business to consumer. This is actually looking to support people in the community in ways that are really practical, not just thrusting something in your face and saying, buy this. I think it's a really powerful, positive message.
But it also lets the community feed into the system. Very often, a lot of decisions about disability are made by non-disabled people. And so therefore, no matter how well-meaning or well-informed people think they are, it's inevitably going to fall short. And again, we go back to what we discussed with Jürgen and Naomi. This has a real nothing about us without us strand to it that I, for one, greatly appreciate.
So why don't we have a look at what the community clinic's all about with the Expo guys now. At Disability Expo, we want to enhance access to care in the community through our dedicated community clinic and charity zone. Since the pandemic, there has been a real strain on our health service and long waiting lists for people to get access to the care they need to live independently. The community clinic is a place where delegates can get an appointment with a health professional free of charge, receive advice, and start or speed up the process of care services. Further support will also be available in our charity zone. Discover charitable organisations that offer vital services and impartial advice, which may be able to help you improve your quality of life. Disability Expo is truly community focused, placing the individual and their needs at the centre of everything that we do. However, health professionals or those that care for someone with a disability will also be able to increase their knowledge, awareness and level of care. Our event ambassador Mike Cowan-Jones is a SEND parent, occupational therapist and managing director of Arms Rehab Limited. Here is what he has to say on why Disability Expo is an event for all of us to attend.
With over 30 years' experience as an occupational therapist, I know and see the strain that the NHS, education and social care services are under. I truly believe in working in partnership with people who have health, disability or neurodiversity conditions, and that is why Disability Expo is such a unique opportunity. It really is putting people who have the lived experience at the heart of the whole event. As a healthcare professional, it's brilliant that you're coming along because you, like me, will know that we work in partnership with the people we support. and that they are as much the expert as we are with the fancy qualifications. As somebody who has the lived experience, it's good that you're coming along because you can gain, I'm sure, experience from others, both professionals and those with the lived experience. I'm going to be there on hand. I'll be able to give advice to those that require it, and I very much look forward to seeing you there. But that is why Disability Expo, to me, is the go-to event of 2023.
So register your free ticket at www.thedisabilityexpo.com to join us at Excel London this July, and follow us on social media for all the latest updates on the event.
Next up, we have the Have a Go Zone, where people can come and get hands-on with things like wheelchair rugby, wheelchair basketball. There'll be taster sessions there. But more importantly, and I'm going to be serious for a moment, Hado UK are going to be there. And there's a certain Mr. Dan Edge who's been talking mad smack about me. So, Dan Edge, I hear you, I see you, and I know you. And my friend, I will see you on the 6th and 7th of July at the Excel. Hado UK, my friend, it is on like Donkey Kong. Because I'm better than you, and you know it.
Most terrifying thing I've ever heard. It was like a Friday night when he says, I hear you, I see you, and I'm coming after you. That's what he says to me most times after I've had a couple of...
That's it. Friday nights with Adam, everyone's a Have a Go Zone.
In this Have a Go Zone, so I take it it's all about trying out new things, trying out equipment. You know, it's supposed to be a bit of a fun, interactive part where you can get right down and physical.
That's absolutely...
Yeah, absolutely, because you can be like, oh, what's wheelchair rugby like? Is it like Gladiators meets Robot Wars? Yeah, maybe. But now people can actually go and like kind of sit in a chair and get really hands-on.
And have a go.
And we could have the next generation of wheelchair rugby players come as a result of just messing around at the expo.
Have any of you ever tried boccia before?
What is boccia? I don't know what it is.
Boccia is like the Paralympic equivalent to bowls. So basically you've got like, you play on like a green surface and you've got your jack ball, which is white, and it is bowls essentially. But boccia is for players that have got sort of muscular dystrophy or spinal injuries where they're very, very limited with their upper limb movement and stuff. So there's lots of adaptations that get made in order to play. It's not like your wheelchair rugby and your wheelchair basketball where you are essentially sitting in a chair and you're quite physical and you're shooting into a hoop. That's not what this game's all about. It's a real thinking sportsman's game. But what I do like about boccia is it's not simply just a chair and a person in it. Boccia is the oldest Paralympic sport. It's one of the oldest sports, but it's the oldest Paralympic sport ever.
That's going to be awesome. Let's go have a look at what the Have a Go Zone is all about now. Why not try something new at Disability Expo? The Have a Go Zone will be packed full of fun and inclusive activities for people of all abilities to enjoy. We're working in partnership with the charity FAB to bring this zone to life. FAB inspires and supports disabled and non-disabled children, young people and adults to make more of their life together. Breaking down community barriers, reducing social isolation and creating opportunities for all involved to enjoy the same activities and challenges side by side. The FAB ethos is a perfect fit for the Have a Go Zone, which welcomes people of all abilities to join together in trying something new. There are 130 FAB clubs across England where people come together for all sorts of social events and activities, as well as FAB camps and one-off special events. You can get a taste of what it's like to be part of the FAB family through the range of activities they'll be organising as part of our fun-packed zone timetable. Andy Craddock from Birmingham Wheelchair Basketball will also be offering taster sessions. Community means a lot to Andy, who has been nominated for the Inspiration of the Year Award for Community Sports and Recreation Alliance in 2022. Boccia England will also be running a session. If you haven't heard of boccia, it's a great target ball sport where the player throws the ball from a seated position, making it ideal for wheelchair users, with the intention of landing it as close as possible to a white marker ball. If you prefer something on the creative side, why not express yourself in a drama workshop with Adele Spinelove? Adele is a writer and mother of 2 sons, one of whom has a rare neurodevelopmental syndrome called ADNP. We have plenty more activities up our sleeve for the Have a Go Zone that we can't wait to share with you, so there's guaranteed to be something for everyone. Disability Expo is all about connecting with like-minded people through activities like these, as well as enriching your life by trying something new. Who knows, you may find a new passion. So register for your free ticket at the Disability Expo for a day that is not just informative, but also full of fun and discovery.
The gaming zone, that's where you'll see me and Chris, and you're not the most. Isn't that right, Chris? That is absolutely correct, yes. Because we're huge, huge gamers. Me more than Chris. How dare you? It's true, I'm better than you, and you know it. Just like Dan Edge. You're on my Dan Edge of gaming. All right. So we've worked really closely with Adapt IT, who are all about making the necessary adaptations to help people with functional disabilities access the wonderful world that is gaming. There's going to be a lot of tech there and a lot of really clever, well thought through engineering, and it's going to be awesome. I love gaming so much. I'm going to unleash my inner nerd. You'll get to see me either at my best or at my worst, depending on what kind of person you are. So let's go over to the expo and hear all about the gaming zone.
The Disability Expo, powered by Adapt IT, presents the Gaming Zone. Come and hang out with like-minded gamers and try the latest assistive gaming technology. Test your skills against the best retro games or modern titles. On both days of the event, there will be multiple gaming areas, supporting differing levels and types of disability. Plus, there will be exciting competitions for our visitors to enter. You can also watch and interact with our Twitch streamers playing games throughout the day, including Melody Powell, Carling Lama and Jeffy Plays. So let's hear from Simon, Managing Director of Adapt IT, who we are partnering with to bring this gaming zone to fruition.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Simon and I'm from the Adapt IT team. So Adapt IT started from the vision from a gentleman called Martin Sliper back in 2001. His vision was to help people with disabilities access IT and gain the benefits that you get from using IT. We took it on after looking for solutions to help my father-in-law, who had Parkinson's at the time, be able to access IT. Partnering with the Disability Expo, it's really nice to be able to work with people that are like-minded. This industry is about helping people. We're not disabled ourselves, but the people developing the Disability Expo are. They get it. They understand the struggles and the frustrations. So not only are we partnering with them, they're part of the community that we're engaging with in order to understand what we need to do as a business to be better and to help them make the most of the assistive technology that they can access.
We're looking forward to meeting you, playing games and having a laugh, whether you're new to gaming or an esport legend in your own home. We can show you how you can start or continue gaming, whatever your age or ability. So register your free ticket now at thedisabilityexpo.com to join the fun this July, and keep an eye on social media for Gaming Zone updates.
When the Disability Expo contacted us and said, we've seen what you've done, can you provide us a gaming zone? It was kind of, what? Play games for 2 days and play games with everybody else? Absolutely.
This is probably the zone that I'm looking forward to the most, by far. What is the main draw for the gaming zone for you two?
We play games. We're exactly the same as you, Chris. I play games. Jess plays games. Let's get the retro games in. Let's get people that really don't know that they can do this, and let's get everybody gaming. The zone is exactly that. It's about gaming and just happens to bring along assistive technology that will help people do that. When you look at gaming, we do tend to go, oh, well, you have a really complicated joystick. You need to be able to use 2 thumbs. You've got about 9 different buttons that you can press. We're changing that. You've got the Microsoft adaptive controllers, which enable you to break that out. So we've got different switches. We've got different joysticks you can use. You can add the eye trackers into the mix. We tend to think of just the interface, but there's also the software. So we're going to have different software from different companies. For instance, Doino, they do a game called Blind Legend, and that is aimed specifically at people with sight limitation or no sight at all. And it's all audio. That paired with a mobile phone, as you go through the adventure, you do different movements on your screen of the phone to engage in the game. So, you know, there's lots of different ways that we can enable pretty much everybody to play games. We're going to have some of the older games there, whether it's Space Invaders or one button push games where you hit the button to slice fruit, beat up the person alongside of you. We'll have that there as well. So, you know, it's going to be great. We'll be able to set each station up for the person that's using it. If you think you can't do it, I can pretty much guarantee we'll be able to get you playing some game or other.
Wonder if Dan Edge is a good gamer.
He's all right. He's a shit human, though. It was in my Disney song. That means nothing. Up next, we have the employability zone. And this one's, to me, really important. In society where we live in, we have quite a huge, not only disability pay gap of around 18%, the disability employment gap is hovering around 36%. And I think this is down to the fact that people very often confuse disability with inability. And whilst I think the pandemic and the sudden move to working from home, whilst it highlighted up until now how inaccessible work had been, the disabled community has been told for years that it wasn't possible. And then during the pandemic, when non-disabled people needed it, how it just fell out of thin air. I think now it's here, it's important we keep it and utilize it to help more disabled talent into careers. And I think that that's what this zone is really going to drive home. And it's what I'm really excited to see and hear, the disabled success stories that are already going to be there. And also watch the start of new ones slowly coming to life. Martin, what do you think?
I think when you imagine, right, if you've got a bird's eye view on these areas within Expo that you're going to look at, and there's going to be like a heat map where everybody's going to be and a lot of activities going to be going on, the employment part is going to be absolutely packed, I reckon, because I think that that's what a lot of people will be coming to this Expo trying to find out more about, how they can get themselves into the world of work and what they need to get themselves there, really. And I think that is, like what you said, vitally important that we've got things to offer, that careers hub has basically got things to show people, and so that they can take some stuff away, some ideas. I've said this to you guys before. Okay, yeah, the employment stats are really, really bad. I'm always really interested to hear what responsibility of that falls upon the employer and what responsibility falls upon the disabled person themselves.
I've been reviewing some of the interviews we've done with people who are going to be at Expo. And one that stuck out was Shani Danda. And she talked about the fact that she sort of gets this, you know, it's like, you're only, people making the accusation you're only really employed there because it's like, you know, box ticking exercise. And she really takes offense to that, because it's like she's worked freaking hard to be where she is.
I can't tell you how soul destroying it has been for me when people have said to me, you only got that job because you're disabled.
Oh, are they kind of saying it's tokenism?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's soul destroying, because
well, they say you haven't got the talent for one.
The workforce, like, I had to apply for over 100 jobs before removing any mention of my condition or impairment, and then I got an interview straight away. I've worked my ass off for everything to get to where I am. Let's be really honest, that there's a million disabled people that can and want to work right now, but because of the stigma that exists in employing disabled people, sadly they're probably gonna fall into poverty. And how do you get out of poverty? It's based on your capability to work. So it's this horrible, vicious cycle that keeps going round and around and around. And then layer on top of that everyone thinks the government gives you everything. And if you're disabled, everyone thinks you're rolling in it. But of course, that couldn't be further from the truth.
I really want to see not just people going there to sort of seek out advice on, you know, as a disabled person, how to get employed, and people who want to genuinely work and need that advice and push in the right direction to get there. But I want to see people who are employers, and I want to see people who are, you know, in these positions where they're actually responsible for human resources and stuff, and actually understanding that, like Adam said so eloquently before, was, you know, not associating disability with inability, because actually you've got these people who are so capable and will actually probably be, you know, We spoke to way back when the I can't remember his name, but the young chap, he was a race driver and he couldn't get, he's autistic and couldn't get work. And it wasn't until BT employed him as a delivery driver.
Obviously, autism has its disadvantages, but my advantage with it is when I'm behind the wheel of a car, I'm able to focus on so many things and I'm probably be able to register so many more things. So, for example, I'm sure you know Silverstone, and you've got, let's just say where Hamilton and Max Verstappen had a little kiss. So a normal driver would just turn into the corner, hit the apex, go for it, register, like, all right, I've got to position the car here, apex, exit, focus. Whereas I would seem to take in more information, and I can pick this up in milliseconds. And I'm able to calculate the inputs on the steering wheel probably. I'm able to make these last minute decisions. And I feel that it's like a little secret weapon to me.
The guy's amazing, and yet he couldn't get that thing because the second it was seen that he was autistic, it's like, oh, too hard basket, mate. Sorry, see you later.
I had a really similar experience to Shani. This is when I was like really young, kind of fresh out of uni, just looking to start working. And I applied for just a basic job at a very well-known hotel chain. And I filled in the form, put all my qualifications, ticked yes to disability. And it just kind of said, oh, you don't meet the minimum criteria. And I'm like, pretty sure I do. Pretty sure I read them and met them all. So filled in the form again, the exact same, but put no to disability and met the criteria.
It's like, speaking to Jurgen from Amazon, the experience he had of once he'd become blind, his boss was like, well, I think we need to demote you because you're disabled now.
I lost my eyesight 4 years ago. My employer said, well, maybe we should demote you because, you're disabled. And I thought that was a pretty terrible idea.
What a thing to say to someone. The mentality behind the ableism that is just so blatant in that. It's astonishing.
That subject it does really hit me hard, the employment subject, because I've worked in news before and I've seen the news stories that go out about employment and about the numbers that disabled people, like you mentioned there, Adam, about some of the stats, and it never, ever, ever seems to get better. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm glad it's happening at Expo. I'm glad we're getting to talk about careers when we're there.
Let's hear more about the employability zone.
Sponsored by Amazon and in partnership with Even Break, the Disability Expo Employable Zone is designed to empower people living with a disability to reach their full career potential. Connect with DEI leads from an array of inclusive employers, plus attend talks on flexible working, selling your skills, accessing education, and building the career that you want. Exhibitors will also showcase products and software that could assist you in your work and may be eligible for funding through Access to Work. Jane Hatton, director of Even Break, said, "We are delighted to be showcasing Even Break at the Employable Zone at Disability Expo. We know that disabled people are premium candidates and bring so much value to the workplace, but are often overlooked. Even Break can support disabled people looking for new or better work and help them find jobs with employers who will also value their skills. Even Break is the only specialist job board run for and by disabled people. So register for your free ticket at www.thedisabilityexpo.com.
Coming up next, we have the interactive accessible home. And for all you tech heads out there, this is going to be wicked cool. They've got an actual accessible home in the Excel with all these different gadgets, gizmos, and mobility aids, etc. that the disabled community may want or need, but may not have necessarily heard of before. I reckon this is going to be great. Gentlemen, if you could have any gizmo in your home to make it more accessible, what would you want?
We've had to do this recently. We've had to have a bathroom completely redone on the basis that my wife's finding it harder and harder to get in and out of the bath, and so we needed a accessible bath put in. That's on a really basic level. I think this is the zone I'm most looking forward to because I love tech like this, where you see really cool stuff that's been brought in that we've said it so many times before. How many everyday aids that everybody uses now were actually originally designed for disabled people, and it's just lazy ass people like me who've gone, that's great, I could use that as well,
Martin, are you looking forward to getting your wheelchair accessible sex swing?
Yes. How did you know? Who have you been talking to? I think it's with the sex thing, it's all about transferability, isn't it? So the fact is, if I've got one where I don't need to transfer out the chair, then that's half the hassle wiped out for me. But when I'm not playing around on my sex swing, I think what Duncan said is the important things. I think that the things that I find the most important areas are the kitchen and the bathroom. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's on offer, because I've been lucky enough to be able to live in a house that isn't adapted all my life, really. So I don't know what's out there. So I'm going into this like a complete novice and just going to go and see exactly what there is out there in order to make people's lives better, and maybe my own.
We had to buy an like a profiling bed because my wife needs something where it came to our saviour about 2 months ago. My wife had a series of quite severe seizures. My wife's epileptic, for those who don't know. Once the paramedics came, it was like, okay, we've got to get her up out of bed, and she was out of it. It was like quite genuinely like someone who'd had a full skinful and was really drunk. It was kind of funny in some ways, but not great when you've got to get someone out of bed. Because we've got this profiling bed from the Laybrook guys who are going to be at the expo, it was great because we could actually just lift her up in the bed, and then it was easy to transfer into a chair that could get her out and down the stairs and out of the house. Having little things like that makes such a huge difference, and that's the kind of stuff that really excites me. Advancing technology in a way that's just so practical and really useful.
I want some of those little Bluetooth motors that you can put on top of your curtain rail, and they'll just open your curtains for you.
Oh, see, that's so cool. Chris, what are you looking for? Are you looking for like accessible mouse traps, or?
I would quite like to see an accessible home, but made by a non-disabled idiot who thinks he knows what disabled people need. So it'd just be like a cupboard full of the board game mousetrap, or really high shoe racks, or like just every doorway has like one little step going up to it. Like that kind of nonsense.
So guys, do you remember the game mousetrap that every kid had in the 80s at Christmas? That's what Chris's house would look like. But one thing to notice, right, is that sometimes you walk into the accessible bathrooms and it's bob on. You know, you've got the sink that's low, you're able to spin yourself in a 360 if you're in the wheelchair, you've got the toilet that you can easily transfer, you've got all the handrails in the right place. What do you think I'm going to say, guys? That almost 99% of the time they never get it right.
Height as a mirror.
Yes, mate. They always forget. You can imagine, like, you know, like somebody being like, "Oh, I've done a really good job on this. I'm just going to put this mirror up for these guys now."
Mate, I follow Sophie Morgan on Twitter. I know what's up.
I was walking to them and wondering, why do I need to see my penis?
Sometimes you just want to wash your face and get yourself a wee splash. Just can't do it.
I thought you were going to say the toilet roll's just out of reach. Everything's perfect. You get yourself seated, you've done your business, and it's on the other side of the room.
Occasionally you just use your fingers and carry on.
You can take the boy out of Glasgow, but you can't take Glasgow out of the boy. But I'm stoked for this zone. So let's hand over to the expo to hear more about it.
Did you know that only 53% of disabled people said that their home met their needs to live independently, completely, or to a large extent? 61% said further adjustments were required to meet their needs. All of these adaptations require funding. At 58%, data suggests that changes are most frequently self-funded. Only 16% of people with a disability who have made adjustments receive funding to pay for them. At Disability Expo, our Manage at Home installation in partnership with MediQuip is designed to help you improve your quality of life at home. Our fully interactive, accessible home will feature off-the-shelf products and specialist equipment for you to try out in a realistic home environment, showcasing how you can improve independent living without compromising on the feel or style of your home. Also featuring an array of workshops and presentations delivered within our 4 living spaces: the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom and the bathroom. The home will utilise the latest technologies for independent living, including telecare and environmental controls to improve the accessibility and safety within the home. Accessible products, techniques and solutions for cooking, dining, toileting, bathing, feeding and sleeping will all be included, as well as a variety of smaller aids and adaptations and information on routes to funding. Alex Roberts, Retail and Engagement Manager at MediQuip, said, "We are incredibly excited to be working with the Disability Expo to deliver an exhibition space that demonstrates how equipment can be used throughout the home to enable independent living. This is a great opportunity to showcase what's on offer to support people living with a disability and helping people to stay independent for longer. Manage at Home is the e-commerce retail brand of MediEquip, the UK's largest provider of outsourced community equipment services to the NHS and local authorities. Manage at Home provides an extensive range of products to aid independent daily living at home. MediEquip Connect currently provides services to over 10,000 people nationwide. They help people maintain their independence by providing technology-enabled care and a range of associated equipment that gives people the confidence of knowing that assistance is available anytime, 24 hours a day. So register your free ticket for Disability Expo this July to find out how you can improve your quality of life at home.
Up next, we have the Sensory Zone. I'm glad this is here because at these kind of conferences, I've been to the Excel. I was there for the Pokemon event, and there's a lot of hustle and bustle. There's a lot of moving bits, and it can all become a little bit overwhelming, even for someone who isn't neurodivergent or who doesn't stress out easy. So to have a place that promotes like relaxation and mindfulness, where people can go, maybe take half an hour to chill out, decompress, and restabilize, and find that little bit of inner quiet, can only be a good thing, in my opinion. It gets overlooked so often. Duncan, your eldest is neurodivergent. How important are sensory zones like this?
So important. I think people don't realise the hard thing with hidden disability, I guess, is that people think people are just coping and they don't really take any notice. But for the person themselves, like my daughter in that environment, she'll be masking that whole time and she'll have just been exhausted by the whole thing. And you're going to get to that point where she's going to go into either meltdown or a shutdown, something that she's got to cope with it somehow. Actually providing an area in there. I mean, we spoke to Kerry from Wrexham only a few weeks ago, and they talked about the fact that they've been doing this at the Wrexham ground, and that they've got a chill out area that actually allows people who are neurodivergent to be able to enjoy a football game.
The club were very accommodating and gave me an area. I think I've got 160 seats, which we called our quiet zone. We set up a sensory hub at the back of that area so that people had got a sensory room to go into as and when they needed. And we had an accessible toilet that was in a quieter area right at the side of the sensory room. So it was all very compact.
It's those little things. And it seems, like Martin said, it's so often overlooked. And yet it's something that's so important. So being able to attend an event like this, get the benefits from it, but know that you've got limitations with how much you're going to deal with. Having somewhere built into it that you can go and just have a relax. I think for anybody, I don't know about you guys, but when I've been, events previously, you get to the end of the day and you're like, oh, having that built into the event, I think is brilliant.
Martin, what do you think?
I think that just vitally important. I think it's good to see that clubs like Wrexham and football and sport and governing bodies are starting to look at it now. And I think you're right. I mean, I can't talk about it from any experience because I don't understand what it must feel like, but it must be like when you're standing in all these crowds and there's loads of people and there's loads of noise, that expression, you can't see the wood for the trees, but people that are sometimes, divergent can't see the woods because of the 19 oak trees in the 70s. So the details seem more refined, I could imagine, like in terms of what they're hearing, what they're seeing. I'm not classed as neurodivergent and I hate crowds.
I know for my daughter, it's kind of like if she'd been stuck in a Metallica concert with nothing but their most fast-paced, heavy songs played for 6 hours straight. I'm a big metal fan, but even you need the acoustic break in the middle, don't you, to just help you get through.
Really glad it's here, and I think it's important, and I think that actually a lot of people use it as a safe space, even if it's not a neurodivergent issue for them.
So here to tell us more about the Sensory Zone. Take it away, guys.
With the Disability Expo schedule packed full of content, we know that you may need some time out from the hustle and bustle. We have a dedicated area for you to find your zen and calm your senses. The Sensory Zone will offer a tranquil, accessible sensory space for all ages and abilities. Throughout the day, we've also scheduled activities within the space to support mindfulness and relaxation. Adaptive Yoga Live will be delivering sessions tailored to meet the unique needs and abilities of each person that would like to take part. Their experienced teachers create an inclusive and safe environment that is welcoming to everyone. Taking part in adaptive yoga can help you produce a state of calm. manage pain, and make connections with like-minded people. Adele Spinlove, who is both an author and SEND parent, will be giving a book reading. Adele uses her children's stories as a tool to help schools with their ongoing inclusion work by giving young readers advice on how to effectively include children that may be different to themselves. Rachel Smith-Ruffle, known as the Wonky Artist, will be giving us a painting demonstration. Following a spinal injury, Rachel was unable to use her fingers, and so she started painting two-handed lying down on her bed. She has turned her story around and is now an international artist. Sarah Harvey, who is also known as Agony Auty through her online presence, will be giving a talk on stimming. Sarah aims to share and foster autistic pride and culture, raising not just awareness but true understanding of autism, while advocating for autistic people's rights and identity. Make sure you follow us on social media for all the latest updates on the event and register your ticket at www.thedisabilityexpo.com.
Up next, we're talking about the marketplace. Jonathan Castellan, what is the marketplace?
Again, another part of the show I'm really excited about. How many times have you seen really creative ideas and really important things that are being made for disabled users to be able to, better their lives and their environment and stuff like that, make life easier and simpler? But this stuff doesn't get to market in the same way because it's not being pushed by a multi-million-pound company that have all that. So often these great advances are made by people who are just doing something funky out of their garage, even if it's just a prosthetic that looks better than the standard bulk prosthetic you get from the NHS, or a way to dress it up, or it could be walking sticks that are a bit more funky than just a pole with a handle on it, stuff like that. These people are doing this stuff. So the marketplace is a really great place where you can see people being a bit more creative, but also that wouldn't have the budget otherwise to be able to bring this stuff to people. I think it's awesome.
And this is what we mean when we say it by the community and for the community.
100%.
What do you think, Mr. Marty Dugan?
Yep, exciting. I always worry about these marketplaces because I'm such a sucker for a new gadget.
Your missus be taking the credit card before you.
If you ever Expo in the 6th and 7th, if you ever go, where's Martin went? I'll probably in the marketplace looking at gadgets.
You'll come back with like a trucker horn on your wheelchair.
For me, it's always been that community thing. When in daily life, I don't like to go to like the big chains to eat lunch or whatever. I like to go to local cafes, and I like that idea of like a grassroots, up from the ground business that somebody's come up with a concept idea. They've come up with an idea in their head and they've manifested it into an actual physical product or an idea. I love seeing people, just everyday people, coming up with great ideas, and that's always got my backing. So I'm so excited, and I will be spending a lot of my free time in there trying to figure out what I can buy.
So let's take a look at the marketplace.
Disability Expo is a truly community-focused event, placing the individual and their needs at the centre of everything that we do. In our exhibition hall and marketplace, you will discover the latest developments supporting the disabled community, as well as services and information to help improve accessibility, promote inclusion, support independent living, and increase independence. Our exhibitors will showcase innovations in mobility, independent living, and assistive technology. Identify the products and services most suited to your individual needs by seeing, feeling, and trying out multiple options under one roof. With information on routes to funding available too. It is a one-stop shop. Other sectors represented in our exhibition space include employment, education, care, insurance, fashion, travel and holidays, and so much more. Smaller and affordable practical items can be purchased from the marketplace. Improve your daily living, your well-being, offer comfort and even style. A variety of charitable organisations will also promote their vital services and give impartial advice around their areas of expertise. So join us at Disability Expo this July. Visit www.thedisabilityexpo.com to register for your free ticket now.
And finally, we have the Mobility Matters Zone. Martin Dugan, tell us more.
Well, this one's all about mobilisation, so it's about helping people in their daily lives and helping them get from A to B with a budget that's affordable for them and adjusting it in a way that's good for them. Let's say, for example, something small like I've got a step outside my front door and it requires me to have bars and able to wheelie myself up to the platform, or it could be, you know, a whole host of mobilisation things, whether it's about using the toilet or whether it's about getting out the house, whether it's about something that helps you when you're out of the house, getting from, you know, your house to the shops. This is what it's all about. But the thing is, right, these little bits of equipment are so unique to the user. This is partly what's important, and what's great about this is that the people who go to the expo will be able to go there and then find out what works best for them with the experts that are there, you know, to help them. The number one thing about these pieces of equipment in mobility is that it's expensive. Being able to live an independent life at home or outside is an expensive business. If you think about a wheelchair, for example, just a standard wheelchair that I use, they cost about 3 to 5 grand. Everything's marked up because it's a niche market when you're talking about the disability market. So whether it be handrails, whether it's a ramp, whether it's a wheelchair, whether it's a walking stick, whatever. I mean, I'm just throwing out some things there. I'm sure there's a lot more that people need. It's expensive. It's not affordable. It's, in a lot of time, people can't get their hands on it. So this is so important because, as Expo says, we're going to figure out a way of getting people mobile and living an independent daily life. Not only that, we're going to strive to make sure that people can afford to get what they need. That's the key.
I mean, often we overlook the economic implications of disability. On average, it costs a disabled person £600 plus more a month just on costs of things like mobility aids, transport, doctor's appointments, medicine, etc., etc. I think often that gets overlooked. And as you say, people do mark things up, A, because it's a niche market, but also it's what we call like an inelastic good. I don't care how much insulin it costs. If you're diabetic, you have to buy insulin.
You need it.
And so you've kind of got people over a barrel, way that almost capitalist element.
I love an area like this where it's, you know, people get to try it out. They're going to be able to practically use it first, and they've got people being able to advise them. And I believe there's going to be people there that will be able to advise on things like getting funding and stuff like that, and actually help them with the financial side of it too.
Duncan, I tell you what, on the financial side of things, I would be really interested to find out how it's affordable and how we can manage to do that, because I tell you what, most of the time when you've got a disability and you're looking for those schemes that's out there, or those access to work things, or anything to do with help when it comes to funding or government funded schemes, I mean, I could probably get a hold of Joe Biden easier. Yeah, so when I'm not in the marketplace, I'll be there.
Hi, my name's Simon O'Gorman. I'm the Managing Director for Adapt IT. We provide accessible IT and gaming for people with disabilities. We have a selection of the type of equipment we use. As you can see, you've got different types of keyboard here, which are aimed at people with neurodiversity, through to keyboards that have guards on. So if you suffer from fatigue or you suffer with tremors where adjacent buttons is an issue, this protects against that. From a gaming perspective, we've got a nice gaming computer here. We have multiple different things. We've got different types of accessible joysticks, and we've also got a lot of buttons which we can map to different things to make sure that it's accessible. Because we're all about gaming and IT. It's not about the assistive technology, although that will be there to make sure that people can actually access the IT. It's about people meeting current friends, making new friends, but more importantly, getting their game on.
Hiya, I'm James from Central Bed. We do bespoke medical beds, all different ranges. They're all made to size. We do the bariatric style. We do the chair beds as well. We also do the turn-in beds and turn them through the night, so you don't have to have a carer or wake your partner or parent. Just come and have a try of our beds. We do trials at people's houses as well. If they come there and decide they like it, it'd be good to come and see us.
Hi, I'm Sukhjin Kaur. I'm the founder of Chronically Brown. We are dedicated to talking about disability in South Asian communities, and we are trying to represent more South Asians within the wider disability community. We have multiple projects that we have, including translated resources that you'll be able to find, and also find out a bit more about our campaign called Disable, and be able to purchase some of our t-shirts. start to open up that conversation in a more positive light and get more South Asians encouraged to get help and support if they do need it, and as well as like create a bit of a better community, bridging the gap between disability and South Asian community. You will find at our stand a lot of our projects that we've been going on, and also we can help with advice on who to contact, how to reach to us, and also how we can work together in partnership.
Right, so we're a manufacturer of interactive portable sensory equipment, so interactive floors, tables, walls. We also do sensory room design, supply and installation, as well as immersive rooms and interactive sensory panels and interactive screens. So we supply a lot in special needs education, but we can do adult disability. We do have some cater for older adults as well. So it's a variety of needs and areas really. We're always welcome to come and try it out. So have a go on the screen, have a go on the floor, pop some bubbles. We're a bit of fun. This is a piano app. I'm not very good at playing the piano, unfortunately. But if you are, and you are coming and you can play the piano, of course, feel free.
I am your friendly neighbourhood sex goddess, and I set up SWAD, which stands for Sex with a Difference. We're a training company, and I'm the founder and CEO. I started running sex and disability discussion groups in my local area. Realised that I wasn't the only horny disabled woman in the UK. It's like there's loads of us, and blokes and all sorts of people. And we're quite interested in being able to, if we want to, have sex and be intimate. I've done some speeches at the BASH conference, British Association for Sexual Health and HIV. So we're managing to influence the NHS. No question is too silly, which a lot of people say. We just want to open the conversation and, if possible, stop disabled people and professionals being worried about opening up a can of worms. We're a good laugh. We're non-threatening. It's about your quality of life, and part of life is sexual expression. We'd love people to come and talk to us. They see us mooching around, and they can ask us anything, and it will be fine.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt from Therapy Gyms, and we're a team of inclusive exercise specialists supporting people with disabilities and health conditions to exercise in an achievable, accessible way. We have a gym in Essex and Suffolk called the Therapy Gym. We also work in the community through Essex and Suffolk, and we also support people to exercise online, nationally and even internationally. So looking forward to seeing you all at Disability Expo in July. Come and see us at our stand.
Hello, my name is Richard Solly, and I am co-founder and director of Robotics for Good. Robotics for Good is a community interest company, and we have a mission to improve people's lives using the latest smart technology and robotics. We are bringing telepresence robots to the Disability Expo so that people who can't attend in person can attend on the robot. Telepresence improves the video calling experience by allowing the person to go where they want to go and to see what they want to see. We believe that telepresence has a great role in improving accessibility and inclusion. We would love the opportunity to explain how telepresence robots can help with accessibility and inclusion, both in the office and at home. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jenny Williams and I'm the CEO of the charity Enhance the UK. We run a campaign called Undressing Disability, and we like to talk about all things sex and disability, which in itself is pretty taboo. Why is it still so taboo? Why are people's care plans not have sections in it where, this subject is spoken about? Why do staff not have training? And that's something that we've written, and we supply training. But still, just getting through the door and having conversations with managers is difficult. We'd like to bring that up, and let more people know about it. We've just brought out an inclusive sex toy range called Quest, which we're really excited about. And there's lots and lots and lots of things that go under the Undressing Disability banner. So we'd love to chat to you.
And there you have it. That's what you can all expect as a bird's eye view of the Disability Expo London XL 6th and 7th of July. I will be there, Duncan Casman will be there, Martin Dugan will be there, and Chris Lee Smith, mousetrap in hand, will be there for laughter, joy, merriment, and to engage in this wonderful community that is disability. So, it gives me nothing else to do but say, love you all, goodbye, see you at the expo. From him, Marty Dugan, from him, Chris Lee Smith, and from him, Duncan Casburn. Love you all, and as always, don't be grumpy alone.